Welcome everybody to another episode of the Silent Patriots.
Happy Wednesday.
We have a
Mhm.
we have an interesting one today, but it's par for the course when it comes to social media and the influencers and what influence it has on people. What's that? They used to say that everybody is a tough guy behind or keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is everybody likes to give threats when their feelings get hurt,
Mhm.
especially those content creators that don't really have a personality or they have nothing else going for them except a dog and being gay. And that's in this case. The only thing this bald
I
fool has going
mean,
for him is that his mom probably didn't like him and his dad especially didn't like him, probably beat him a lot, probably touched him too, for all I know. 'Cause it looks like that kind of kid. And decided in his older age to just take it out on other people and
Yep.
try to do it in his own gay way, but making it seem like he was just, I'm flamboyant. You can't tell me nothing. If you do tell him something, you're the hater. Well,
he dropped the
he
homophobe
yes, he went
marker.
he went one step too far this time, however, and unfortunately for him, it did not work out the way I think he was hoping it would work out.
Mm.
And so, what we are going to look at is first of all, what really started all of the hubbub.
Mhm.
And so we're gonna take a look here, and I'll
Are we
play you.
starting? Are we starting from his federal criminal
No,
charges
that's
day of
secondary.
doxing?
We
That's
will
secondary. Okay.
start from the event that kickstarted his demise.
And real quick, Marlon, something about people like him, they're called accountability creators, right? And there's a whole
Hmm.
bunch of them. We named them off backstage. We'll probably name them throughout the show at some point. But these people have zero talent, zero. So what they do, they grift on anything that's out there trending, whether it be COVID, whether it be something that's racist, whether it doesn't matter. If it's trending, they grift off that whatever's happening and they try to make money, and then they try to ruin people's lives while they do it. So they're accountability creators, zero talent. If you look at their content, zero talent. And this is what they go to, what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. So what we're gonna show you first is what got our attention initially about what he was doing, because there was another woman that used to follow him, and this is the
Mhm.
thing, everyone used to follow him because he was well, on-screen charismatic. Because this is the thing, if you don't have a moral compass, you'll follow anybody you think as, oh, I should support them because they're gay or they're flamboyant or whatever it is. That's what he got his following from, was his personality. I don't even think it's a
Mhm.
Yeah.
personality. I think it's narcissism. But hey, who am I to judge? Well, I can. But outside of that, he went one step with this person, and they, I guess because she did what he said she had a problem with. She said something about it, and then he had a problem with her saying something about him. And what you're gonna see is what being called out when you're not used to being called out, because you're the one that always calls everybody out, what it does.
Mhm.
Because they get tired after a while of trying to defend themselves. They really don't have a choice, because they know that if they don't, people realize that this is probably true. Not realizing that in defending themselves, the way they defend themselves, they're proving the person right. I'm still waiting for this to download. So come on. Oh, you don't want to send it, huh?
Hey, Micah,
So,
thank you for the gift.
Yep. Thanks. Here's the other way to describe it, Michael, is social media hall monitors, right? With your stupid sash
There you go.
going
Yeah.
through social media. Just like, no, you can't do that. It's against the rules.
That is very true.
I want to show you. Well, you guys saw the thumbnail. That was his picture.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get this downloaded so I can actually play the video, because I cannot, unless you guys can find her account where she was talking about it. And I was going to send this before, but I ran out of time, daylight. But we need to start with this particular video, because it's essential to seeing why he got his big account. I think
Right,
he had
let me
1.1
see.
million followers on it.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
got erased. So we want to make sure we get that squared away. But for some reason, it does not want to send it through Messenger.
Do you want to watch it through TikTok?
Yeah,
All right, I'm gonna
just
send
send
it
it in
to
the chat.
I'm gonna send it in the chat. Her video, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lex. There it is.
Okay, let's bring that up. I don't know why it's taking so long to upload. It's kind of weird.
And while it's uploading, how I came across this, a friend sent it to me, and I looked at it, and I never followed this lady right here. You know, I know she's left leaning. I know her. She tells her background, but it was very interesting that, you know, the House of Petty, whatever he wants to call himself, you know, muscles, nurse, muscles, whatever, showed up in the video. Muscles, nursing, whatever. Yeah.
Now, I want you guys to listen carefully to what she's saying and then to what he says. Okay. This is now why we're doing this. One, we are also petty. That's everybody should know that. That's the we petty like that. But two, if you have kids on this app, they are more than likely going to follow people that are loud, boisterous, lots of music going on. And that's how they appeal. They appeal to the younger minds and more immature mind. And if you do have children that follow, they also slip in some very disgusting things. And we talked about people like and Karen and Genty who slip in everything possible about sex. And Karen is one of those that would actually have her sex machine in some of her videos, literally the sex machine on video and talking about the sex machine, knowing she has minor followers. That's the kind of ilk we're talking about. And Muscles, Nursing and Muscles does the same exact thing. He will talk about his escapades with other men on his platform, and that's what gravitates, you know, the way he presents. He knows exactly what he's doing. So anyway, her following him made a whole lot of sense. If you're lefty, that's what you do. You follow the people that promote your agenda. But when it bites you and you look for, I'm not sympathetic to her, mind you, people. This is not me being sympathetic. I want other people to be aware that there are no limits when it comes to these people. They will go after everybody. Okay, everybody's fair game. So here you go.
A man with over 1 million followers on this app is using his platform, specifically TikTok Live, to threaten my personal safety and information. Now, I have screen recordings and I will play them for you in a minute, but the account name is Muscles and Nursing or House of Petty. I'm not the first person he's targeted and threatened. However, I'm a little confused because there's been no back and forth. Me and this person were mutuals for years up until October. And then at the start of the genocide, he blocked me. There has not been a back and forth. We are just two very different people.
Now, I want to clarify that. He is a self-proclaimed Zionist. Okay? That's what he says.
That makes sense.
But he's against religion. I want you to make that make sense. So he's a Zionist, but he's against religion. And he's pro-Israel and she is pro-Palestine. And that's where their rift happens. Because she's calling what happens a genocide and he does not see it that way because he is a Zionist. So I want to make sure that we get that clarification there.
How do you be a Zionist without like the religious component?
I don't know, but no one ever said that the left made sense, Coy. See, they can be very.
It's because like the tenet kind of Zionism is that the motherland is gifted by God, like it is said by God that we own this land. So like if you believe in Zionism, you believe that God has given the right to the Jews to Israel.
Yes. But not with these people. It's a term, it's a name, it's a place that and it's a brand.
Yeah, that's
it's
a good
a
way to
brand.
put it.
They take it when they want it, and then when it doesn't fit them, then they put it aside.
That's true. I don't know why I was trying to make sense of these people.
Yeah.
Because you're logical.
You're hopeful,
smart.
Coy. You're hopeful. You are hopeful.
I try to give the benefit of the doubt. I really do.
It's just another form of grifting. This is what they do. Like I said earlier, they jump on something, a trend, they grift for it, supporting a trend. They get the money, they get whatever they get out of it, and then when it's not benefiting them anymore, they jump to the next grift. So tomorrow he'll be, I don't know, Black Panther. I don't know. They always figure something else out.
He does have BLM in his bios, so
He does. He might be going there soon.
No, raise the fist, man. There you go.
The problem is Coy on this case is not cautiously. He was just optimistic. And that'll be his downfall if he keeps being optimistic about the left.
Is he Jewish? Because then I would understand a little bit of that.
No,
and that would make sense.
No,
okay. So he's just he's just
a
crazy
he's German.
Person,
I think he's German.
Well, that's ironic.
Which is still kind of funny because technically Hitler was never a German. He was an Austrian half Jew.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he's Hitler. Let's go with that. They like calling people Hitler. We'll call him
I'm
Hitler.
done with that.
He's a stashless Hitler. Here we go.
And I guess my advocacy was enough for him to threaten my safety, my personal information, and the personal information of my mother. Now, before anyone says anything, I've already alerted the authorities, but I did want to make this video because if anything happens to me, I want this to be documented.
I'm not talking to one person, LexRN. I'm just talking to a couple people. But, relation warning. Just so you're aware, I have about 80% of, I've got 80% of your personal information in my shop, you know? And you can't violate me. I'm going to obviously win because it's called MAD. Have you ever heard of mutually assured destruction? Does anybody know that? All right. So if you want to try and give me your Operation Watermelon, if you want to do that stuff, just be aware. I'm petty and I'll go down with this ship. Okay, I will burn the bridge with me standing on it. I will release everything. Okay, everything. I will release everything. Okay, so to understand, I have everything on you. I do. Okay, and I'm not petty. Well, yes, I am petty. Okay, and if I have to go to jail for it, guess what? My dogs will be taken care of. So fuck around and find out.
To repeat, he's using the fact that I had purchased something from his shop in the years prior to then use my personal information against me and threaten my personal safety as well as my mother because I had ordered it to my mother's address. Now, I don't know if this violates the terms and conditions of his shop, but it certainly violates California state law. And I just want to document what is being said and remind everyone that there has been no back and forth. Me and this person have had zero interaction for 6 months. If you are a lawyer or someone who could potentially help with this situation, feel free to reach out. Thanks.
Now,
isn't that
go ahead.
Terroristic threatening? Because like that's kind of like the legitimate reason to call that is like if you're saying that I will release things that will damage you in a certain way,
yes,
to terrorize an individual.
Mm-hmm. And
terroristic threatening.
Wrong, but do we also know where he's located? Because she said she's in California. Or
I'm assuming that's where he might be too.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would assume so.
If she was to, more than likely, it wouldn't be a criminal case. It would be a civil case. She would bring it in California where the California law would apply.
Yes, where it would apply.
Yeah.
And he would be summoned there to do exactly what would be needed.
He would be subpoenaed to come do a deposition in California. Yeah. Where they are not friendly.
The only reason why I ask is because if he were to do that and he's across state lines from her, that's a federal crime.
Yes,
the internet is all like that.
It could be deemed a federal crime. But the problem with him is people like him. Again, they find their target and they try to strike fear in them. And then if you looked at the comments, all the enablers in the comments, that whole mob mentality, instead of someone in the comments saying, whoa, that's a little too far there, they were all edging them on, just giving them that dopamine, giving them all that energy to continue to say what he was saying. If people in the chat, if someone more people in the chat would have stopped him and said, whoa, something's messed up here, you shouldn't be doing this. But he had that much courage and that much ego to where he thought that was okay, and that's a problem.
And the thing is, she didn't. Now, this is a problem with allyship. When you join the bandwagon of allyship because of topic, and you don't realize the person that you're supporting is a person like, say, a child abuser or a serial rapist, or in this guy's case, a psychopath.
Mm-hmm.
Then when it finally comes out and they disagree with you, all of a sudden now you want the person taken care of.
Yep.
Now it's because it's being done to you, it's a problem. Like I said, I have no dog in the fight when it comes to her and him. She's left leaning. She's dumb enough to support Palestine, not even worrying about Hamas. So she must be a dumbass. So I'm not going to follow her and worry about her. Okay. So I'm not worried about that point. What I am saying is that there are other people out there who do not go onto TikTok for political leanings. They go on there for fun, music, games, all that stuff. But if they're especially underage, the kinds of people that people like Muscles go after are weaker minds. And let's just be honest, children have weaker minds.
Yeah.
And they know that, which is why you see a lot of the adults that are left-leaning act like what? Children.
Yep.
Because they are not very smart people. We can say that because it's true.
So I got the penal code up for you, Marlon.
Let me bring it up here.
So California Penal Code 422, criminal threats. California's criminal threat law, formerly known as terroristic threats, applies whenever a person threatens to commit a crime that would result in death or great bodily injury with specific intent that the statement be taken as a threat to another person, resulting in the target of the threat feeling sustained fear. So I would think that video applies, right? In sum, to be guilty of the criminal threat under California Penal Code 422, you must threaten somebody with a crime that would result in great death or great bodily injury. Yes, which that possibly would produce a statement that would be, as a whole, taken as a threat.
Right.
You saw the video. Would you consider that a threat?
Yes.
Yes.
Especially when you say to me, if I go to jail over this.
Yep.
That's the key word that a lawyer would latch onto, is the fact that he said he's willing to go to jail, which means he intends to commit a crime that would would put him in prison. Right? So you also have to write it or verbally communicate it, which we did. The video is right there. Make a threat in a clear and immediate way, which he did. He said he would release personal information that would cause damage to you. Right? And create a reasonable fear that you'll hurt the other person or the person's family, which has been communicated, because she said her mother was involved because she has the address to that person. And the only reason you release personal information is for, won't somebody rid me of this priest? Or you yourself using it to commit a crime, which you said you were willing to do.
Right. Now this is no different than that. I'm looking for his video here because I do want you to hear this, because it's not just Muscles. There are many people that allow this, or TikTok allow to speak like this. One of them we've covered already by the name of Eddie Brock, or Matthew. What's his last name again?
Chapel.
Chapel. Yeah, Matthew Chapel. So he did a video speaking about a mutual of mine, not his mutual, but her and I are mutuals, and threatening to curb stomp her, and then RAPE her.
Interesting.
As fun. Okay. Now that's the kind of stuff, and that video stayed up for forever. The only reason it came down was mass reported. Now, if you mass report something, it still doesn't guarantee it comes down, by the way. But it came down only weeks after of mass reporting. And he still put up another video doubling down on it and saying there's nothing anybody can do about it. You're just taking me out of context. And this is how they get around or skirt around the so-called guidelines on places like TikTok. For this guy, he is notorious for being, what's the best word for him? A problem. I'll just put it like that. He's a problem.
He's a problem.
So I'm gonna show you this one here.
Hi, good morning. Going forward, I'll be posting on this account from now on. Have you ever heard of the expression, when the airplane is going down, you put the mask on yourself and then you help the kids? Yeah, it's because if you can't help yourself, you can't help other people. Donald Trump says he's going to pull us out of NATO. He doesn't give a shit if Russia attacks one of our allies. The leaders of Hamas, the terrorist organization, and Iran met with Putin just a couple of days ago.
Listen carefully.
Russia, Iran, and Hamas are our enemies. They are our enemies. They want to see America fall. And from what I'm seeing on the social media streets, it looks like there's two groups who want to see America fall. Putin and some Americans. Americans who said that they cared about people in marginalized communities. This is from Eligibidaquita. Be careful who you trust. Keep your safe spaces safe.
I'm not going to protect you any longer. And I remember the head of a country stood up and said, does that mean that if Russia attacks my country, you will not be there? That's right. That's what it means. I will not protect you. And
if Donald Trump is willing to do that to our allies, we already know he's willing to sell our secrets. Do not think that we are exempt, Eligibidaquita. He will do nothing to save us. Plan accordingly.
Ah.
Yeah.
How do you rip a video so far out of context?
Nobody knows. Bloodbath. Case in point.
Right. It's a bloodbath, man.
Just saying. If you can gravitate to a word, they think they win.
Dude, this is the same guy who talked about in that video, talked about marginalized communities, right? What he said, protecting marginalized communities.
Yeah.
Aren't females considered in today's social climate considered a marginalized community?
Depends on the demographic of the female.
Yes.
It depends on who you're talking to at that particular time of day.
Yeah. I'm just saying. You know, he's the same people that, you know, sits up there and, you know, probably talks about and guaranteeing his platform somewhere talks about women's rights, Roe v. Wade.
He does.
All the equality, all this crap. But yet he gets up there. The same women that he says that he cares about threatens one.
Yeah. But these are the same type of people that say black people can't vote because they can't get an ID.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, with that kind of logic, what would you expect from somebody like that? I mean, if you go down that rabbit hole of like, what do they actually believe? They don't believe in anything. They just believe in whatever gives them power. That's it.
They just roll the dice. What can I be mad about today? Some black guy in Northeast New York on 10th Street got jumped. Like, whoo! I'm gonna jump on that.
What I picture in my head is a dude like that going over to Michael because he's a Republican and being him and said, "Stop being oppressed! Stop being oppressed!" as he's stomping on his face.
Yeah,
I'm not a Republican.
So
right leaning.
Okay, not I mean right leaning. Sorry, my bad. I forgot. We're definitely more libertarian folks.
But on me.
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it is. It's like him just curb stomping you and just going, "Stop being oppressed." Well, I'm trying to help you. I'm doing this for your benefit, right?
While filming it.
While filming
it, yeah.
Yeah.
You see him setting up their ring light and everything. You're like, what is he doing? And then all of a sudden he just jumps on you. Like, what is going on?
I'm beating this oppressed poor black person because he's oppressed, and then I'm helping
for his
him.
own good.
Or he's
for his own good.
He's the type that would beat me and then do a video about me getting beat by
and
someone.
don't show his face. And don't show his face.
Right.
Oh my
This
god.
Poor black man.
But I hate black conservatives.
Yeah, I hate black
right.
conservatives.
I love people, but I hate black conservatives
found a video.
more.
I found a video I'm looking for, not the. And I think if I played that other one, I would definitely get this. We would definitely get a strike if I played that one. And, you know. So, but this one, I got a. I found one of my old accounts. I think this was like 25 accounts ago. I saved the video.
Yeah, I think we covered this. Dude, didn't we?
This guy before, but I don't think I played this video.
Oh, Eddie Brock.
But listen carefully to this, okay? Now, precursor. Just like when muscles and medicine or whatever the heck his name is, nursing and muscles or whatever it is, they all have this air of superiority about them. Mm-hmm. And in Matthew's case, he thinks that he can handle just about anything because he was a mortuary assistant in the military. He thinks because he's been around dead people that he has some kind of combat skill when he has zero skills except for the size of his body. That's all he's got.
That's right. We made fun of this guy. Yeah.
So here you go. Listen carefully.
All right. So I've been quiet with this T-Nation situation, and I'm going to talk to you as Staff Sergeant Chappelle and how serious this situation is and why it's critical to properly plan. The 4 black women who are responsible, along with a racist white woman, for getting T. Nathan apprehended, failed at planning. So you're operating on things you know. What these individuals don't know is how deeply affected people in his immediate family are, how deeply affected his close friends and associates are.
Listen.
They don't know the capabilities and the possibilities of individuals who may or may not have their address. outside of their state and city to well within their city limits, knowing exactly where they're at. They never planned for the blowback. Because once you do something like that, you're now the target. What's your contingency plan against things you have not even took in consideration? If you're thinking because I'm a woman, I'm a black woman, or I'm gay, I'm safe, this is not how real life works. So if we want to talk about being accountable, now you must be accountable for your actions.
Okay.
Well, he's right about that, but he directed it incorrectly because
he directed it as a threat.
Right, and that is a federal crime because he literally, Jimmy said, something about being across state lines?
Yeah.
You know, again, I'll go back to they pick their target. So he picks somebody that he probably thinks that they don't have the ability to defend themselves.
Right.
He would never in his life threaten me like that. You know why? Because I call his bluff.
Yeah.
Guys like Coy and I, guys that are combat tested, real combat tested, not some mortuary affairs guy who saw some dead bodies, who wants to use military lingo like he's some strategic individual. He planned combat operations. He sat up there and he did what he did. God bless him for that. I'm not going to knock that part. But they pick their targets and they go after the targets. It's usually someone that they know can't defend themselves, someone that's helpless, someone that's not military trained or no type of trained in hand-to-hand combat. So they pick that. They'll never go after somebody that they know is really about that life.
Yeah.
And he's not about that life. He's all talk. The most training he's got was in basic combat training.
He likes to talk street too.
Yeah, he talks like he's combat something. Get out of here, dude.
It's like Mr. Rogers going after Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
Mr. Rogers would win though because he
yeah, probably. But okay, let me pick a different. Let me pick it. Pee Wee Herman going up against Mike Tyson.
That's better.
Okay, that's better.
That's a better comparison.
Yeah.
Because there was always that
annihilate
rumor that
Tyson,
Mr. Rogers was really about that life. So.
Yeah, he was about that life. Okay,
Yeah, he
let's
was.
not get that twisted. Mr. Rogers would jack up Tyson. In the
Anyway,
heart.
okay, so Pee Wee Herman versus Mike Tyson. It would not be one of those fights that would last very long. No,
No, it wouldn't.
It is insane to me though, because just like with muscles, when they fail at getting their point across, and if you don't believe their point or you don't agree with them, and I mean the very next step they take is threats.
Mm-hmm.
And not just, you better not talk about me or I'll bombard your page. You better not talk about me or I'll mass report your page. That would be, in my book, I could see that being acceptable. They go to the extreme. I will kill you. I will find your family. You don't understand what I can do to you outside of this app. I will make sure I drop all your information. Every one of them did it. Karen did it. Genti did it. Matthew did it.
Dinesh.
Nathan did it. Dinesh did it. This fool did it. Savannah did it. All of them. All of these big creators. What's his name too? Jolly Ginger. All of them have the exact same MO. When you cross their path and you say something they disagree with, or something they think doesn't go with their narrative, and you stand on it, the very next thing coming to you is a death threat, a threat to find you, a threat to beat you, a threat on your family, or a threat in some cases when they're actually talking about women's rights is to rape you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now I want people to try and make that make sense. One, I wouldn't be the least bit disappointed if TikTok went away. I really wouldn't. Not because of the platform itself, because I think if TikTok actually applied their actual guidelines, TikTok could be fine.
Yep.
But when you pay to avoid the guidelines, what sense are the guidelines anymore?
Yeah.
What sense does it make? It doesn't make any sense.
And
Marlon,
we know the reasoning why TikTok does that is because a lot of those creators like that just get on there and go off like that and say things that we would get banned for. You know, even if he threatened me or you, Marlon, and you did a rebuttal, your video would go down.
Yeah.
Theirs would stay up.
For hate speech.
Yeah. And the reason they do that is because a lot of these big creators like that actually pay into TikTok. So TikTok's not going to take their money away. They're going to go after the guy that didn't get paid. But those days are coming to an end because people like them, people are coming for them, man.
Yep.
People are coming for them.
Well, this reminds me of the video that I wanted to play last time we were bringing it up about the activists. It's like the reason that you have to reframe what a compassionate activist is, according to Jordan Peterson. And this is an interesting observation from him.
Do not use God's name in vain. And people think that means don't swear. And it kind of means that in some trivial way. But mostly what it means is do not claim divine motivation for self-serving behavior. And that's what all the protesters are doing. We're so compassionate in public. It's like, no, I don't think so. I think you're narcissistic psychopaths, fundamentally.
Mhm.
And if you're not, well, at that moment, you're certainly possessed by that spirit. Look at how good we are. That's why Christ says in the Gospels not to let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. If you're going to be good, do it in secret.
That's
Why?
right.
So you don't fall prey to the temptation to make your good subordinate to your pride. Right.
Excellent point.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like these people are psychopaths pretending to be good. So it's the same sort of people that do all these philanthropic purposes in order to justify their evil deeds. Right. So like the Clinton Foundation, right? We're helping these poor people of Haiti while taking all of the money that's supposed to help them. But they get all the benefits of helping while subserving themselves, right? It's the same thing with any of these types of organizations, especially nonprofit organizations that will preach all day how much they're helping people while almost less than 10% of all in nonprofits actually put the money into what they're saying that they're doing, right? It all goes to organizational power, right? That's all the money does. Or they send it to these big galas, or they send it to political PACs or whatever else. It's just money laundering in the guise of doing good. So Elon Musk said this recently too, is that he's tired of seeing people say they're doing good while doing evil, right? Yeah. You remember that interview where he said that? He's like, these people will preach all day about doing what's right for the climate and doing what's right for everything else, but still doing evil things in the background while saying they're still good.
Yeah, and what a lot of these creators is that they start off doing probably with a good cause, like what was stated, and then they try to do so much good to where they do evil and bad. People don't really look at that. They only look at the good that they supposedly done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they can do all this good. Oh, I helped this person. I did this person. I did this nonprofit. I gave this money to this person, but I also threatened this person's life. Oh, we're not worried about that. We're focusing on the good you did, because you do good. You help the community. And all their little monkeys with the tambourines, like we always say, they're followers, the enablers over there clapping. Well, we're not going to count that. But he did all of this. But he did this evil deed over here. So, you know, the people that get up there and have to boast about their good deeds, they don't do it because they care. They do it based off of ego. And this is all ego.
Clout.
Here's another good example. Look at Obama and how they treat him like the second coming of the Messiah, right? He can do no wrong, even though he has by far done the most damage in modern history to the Middle East and also America as a whole, right? Race relations have gotten worse since he was president. He also killed U.S. citizens with drone strikes. He also not only created, but helped perpetrate ISIS, right? Then we're not even talking about bringing back the slave trade in Libya because of what they did, right? Him and Hillary together killed Gaddafi, and then the slave trade in Libya flourished. And so there are probably more black people in slavery now than there was in the Atlantic slave trade because of what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And bro, I would actually to further your point, in terms of like muscles and nursing, I think he started off trying to help, give medical information because he's a nurse. Mm-hmm. But then at the same time, it's like there was a point that you made that kind of sort of lined up with what muscles and nursing would actually do. It's like they ignore the fact that that he or they go off the idea that because he's a nurse and he has medical authority, that's why they clap for him.
They gravitate to him.
Yeah, they gravitate because he's got the information. But is it really credible? Because he lost his license. He got fired multiple times for, utilizing his credentials for self-medicating purposes. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, he's one of those.
Yeah, and then he got fired for that. So can we really call him credible?
No,
but he is credible by the left standards.
Right.
Joe Biden is credible. Remember.
Yeah.
So he was dipping into the cabinets.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though. You know, like all the points you brought up to us, normal people with normal brains, free thinkers who can think for themselves and know the difference between right and wrong, good and evil. It doesn't matter how much I like your content, no matter how long I know. It doesn't matter how long I've been following you, how much I can relate. If you do some evil stuff, I'm done with you. But a lot of their followers will just turn a blind eye, and then they'll be following them on their lives, giving them all this money, clapping them on, and just forget about things like that video, a threat. But they're all feminists. They're all social justice warriors. Yeah. But they turned a blind eye to him literally threatening a female that didn't get into it with him, that didn't threaten him, just for a disagreement, which we all have.
But that's how they do, you know. Cancel culture doesn't discriminate of who they actually go against or who they want to cancel. If they disagree with somebody, it's about destroying their life instead of just having a disagreement.
Which is hilarious to me because then they cannibalize themselves. It's just so funny to see the implosion.
I think people are tired of it, honestly. Like you look at the state of the gaming industry, for instance, and how people are just like, I'm done. We're done with this BS. We're done listening to these people complain about everything. They are not oppressed. They're the ones in power. They have all the institutional levers. How were they oppressed?
Yeah, and I think with TikTok is more and more people are starting to see it because you remember COVID and right after COVID, these accountability creators were like, they were all over your FYP everywhere you saw them, everywhere going after somebody and people clapping them on. This single mom lost her job because this person called because she didn't agree with COVID, and they were just clapping away. Now that COVID's gone away, you're slowly starting to see these accountability creators instead of focusing on the clout issues that they love to focus on. They just, like I said, they jump on anything and then they go after anybody that looks good enough for them to go after, and they target that person and they threaten them. But the threat doesn't work on everyone these days because more and more people are doing as this lady is doing and as many other creators are doing. Now you see these accountability creators hide their comments, delete their pages, because now people are waking up to it. And now they're calling them out and they're seeing a pattern. And they're like, wait a minute, this person really isn't as good as I thought he was, or she. Yeah. And now they're going into hiding. Then they're trying to rebrand themselves. No one's going to forget who you are. Because you can't change it. Once a narcissist, always a narcissist. You're never going to get rid of that.
That's something I try to practice. We were talking about like doing nice things and not talking about it. Like if you have to post on social media how good of a person you are, then you're probably not. The same thing with like if you're posting how awesome your relationship is, it's probably not.
No.
It's the same situation. Like you do good things because nobody's watching. Because that makes you a good person, and you don't tell a soul about it. Like, because if you're doing that, you're bragging. You're doing it because it makes you feel good. Right. Not because you actually wanted to help someone.
Oh, by the way, his name is John Scott. I didn't say it. He did. In case anybody wants to know. That's not doxing when someone gives it to you in his profile as his name. Just so anyone knows. If you go to the House of Slavonics, whatever it is, he says his name. I just want people to be aware that I didn't say that. John Scott. Jon Scott. Okay, just so you know, I want people to aware because he likes to. I don't think it's illegal for me because I'm repeating what he said.
Yep.
And So anyway, but for him, his big account, the million follower account, has been deactivated. Now here's the thing: Dinesh's got deactivated, and TikTok gave it back to them.
Yeah.
Because all they have to do is wait a few days, work out their deal with TikTok, and they're right back. So don't be surprised if you see that big account come back, because what he did before it got deactivated, this is how I know he's going to get it back. He shut off all comments, shut off all stitches, made everything private, and then the account went away. What that really was an attempt to show TikTok, or at least to have this air of, I'm sorry, and I'm going to try and make things better. Here I am shutting down all comments because I feel bad, but also to protect himself from the onslaught of people who are questioning him. Give it about 2 weeks, and I guarantee you money, just like when Tizzy Ant made all those pedophilic videos with little boys next to him and talking about having intercourse with them. His account went down for like 2 days and came back up, and he got even bigger. And how Dinesh made death threats towards people and doxed people and then lied about being swatted, those kinds of, and he got his account back. This is how it works. If you are on the left and you issue terroristic threats, and you can have enough influence on the populace because you push the talking points, you will be able to do what you want to do.
Right.
Exactly.
If you fight the system, they're going to get you. But these are the way these people are. I have no problem speaking ill about them because they're trash human beings.
That's right.
Nobody really loves them. They never got love as a child, and no one as an adult loves them. They've managed to procure a wife or a husband that really doesn't care for them. They're there because they either have the income that they need, or they've lied to them enough that they can believe it.
That's right.
Okay. Yep. And then they go to the internet and they figure, okay, this is how we're going to make money now. And I just have to be a grifter for the rest of my life. What they don't expect is people to actually push back and fight them.
And a problem with a lot of them, once their followers start going after them, they have some type of personal crisis that comes up. And if you note, it's always a trend. Once people start calling them out, because some followers will start calling them out, then they'll have some type of health issue, or they'll have some type of issue to kind of divert the attention from the things that they've done. You know, and a lot of these creators like him and all the ones you named, Tizzy, Aunt Karen, all these, Dinesh, they use their followers as like their little flying monkeys. So their job is done. All they got to do with this lady, all he had to do was show her video and mention her. And then it's hands off, like a true narcissistic farm. Hands off, the flying monkeys come in, the flying monkeys start attacking, doxing, gang stalking, and it drives people insane. See, I don't think they really understand, or they do understand, the end game. Because the end game, not everybody's as strong as some of us on this panel. We can take it. I could take punches all day, but some people can't take it. And so when that happens, when people can't take it anymore, and it's happened many times on social media, they stop forgetting. They stop talking about it. Their followers stop talking about it. They stop talking about it. They move on to the next victim. And a lot of times in people like Dinesh and these sociopaths case, they're happy about it. And TikTok allows it. It just makes no sense to me, but they reap what they sow, and their time is coming.
Yeah.
I want to find this one thing here. If I can find it, I wanted to show you something that and this is proof, this will be proof to you, because these videos are actually still up. And this is one of, let me see if I can find the exact one, because it is of that guy named Tizzy. He has a massive following both on TikTok, on Instagram, on X. He has a following everywhere, literally everywhere. And so what he does is he will, just like we mentioned before, a lot of these people will interject social things, and then they will go back and they'll not only talk about the social aspect, and then they'll talk about something the police did, or something the political landscape, and then in between those videos they'll throw in something sexual of nature towards children, literally towards children. Not, and I don't mean like passively towards children, directly towards children. And if I can't, I can't. But here's what it was. He made a stitch, or what would you call it? A video duet, whatever it was, with a younger boy. And when I say younger, I mean younger. I think the kid was like 9 or 10. I think I remember and that. The video he made was of a, what's the best way to put this? The video said, "I like young boys." And he proceeded to tell what he likes about young boys. And mind you, that is still up on his main 1 million plus follower. He might be up to 2 million by now. 1 million plus people. Why is it still up? If you look at the agenda being pushed in the public arena, and you look at the agenda being pushed in the political arena, what is it aimed towards? The sexualization of what? Children.
Yeah.
So he's doing exactly what they want him to do. He himself, I have zero doubt that that man has either already committed or thought about committing pedophilia. I have zero doubt in my mind. He has all the traits of a pedophile. Every last one of them he possesses traits of a pedophile. And I hope you watch this video, Tizzy, and I hope you try to find me. I pray that you try to find me. I pray that people like Muscles try to find this podcast. I hope you do. That would be the happiest day of my life if you try to dox me.
Yes.
I will rejoice. I will be like throwing parties if you try to find me. I hope you do. Why? Because it will be the end of you. Everything you have in your life, financial, will be ruined because I will be one flipping the switch, not you. I hope you do. I really, the same way I hope that RC Dubs files that defamation lawsuit with his pedo behind. I hope he does.
Has he done it yet?
No, not yet. He says he has a year. So this is the thing. When we expose this, like I said, the first thing they go to is, I'm gonna do this to you, do this. Well, do it. Stop talking and do it. But you know you're not gonna do it because you're doing it to get more clout. People think you have a spine.
Yep.
This is what Nurses and Muscles did. He tried to come forward and be a tough guy when he's not nothing but a sissy.
Yeah.
In every aspect of it, both gay and not man. He's a sissy. He's soft. But he did it hoping that people would side with him, but it didn't go as far as he was hoping. And now he has to try and regroup, redo his platform. And when he comes back, he's going to come back with this. I'm just going to forget that for now.
Yep.
Well, you won't. You just forget I even said that. Yeah, it's a thing of the past now. I'm going to move forward with a different idea.
Yeah.
No, that's not how this works. The internet's forever. We will always have these things in our wheelhouse. We'll have it. We'll find it. And we'll show the world, even though it may not go to court, but people will know. People will know. Yep. Which is why when we expose it, they get mad. It's now, we're not saying anything you didn't say. That's the crazy part. We're showing what you said.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not even like we're making stuff up and like, yeah, you know, he didn't say it, but that's what I believe he said. You said it. You literally made a duet with a child saying, I want to have sex. That's what you did. Not us. You made a post saying you want to dox and you would be willing to go to jail over it. Yes, and it wasn't about the doxing, harming. You have people like Eddie who say, I'm going to rape you. And that's still up. To me, that's crazy. But then again, par for the course is exactly where they want society going. And they do it all in the name of social justice and victim advocacy while creating victims.
It's equality, man. The thing about these people is they don't actually want to do these lawsuits because it opens them up to too many things, because discovery is a pain and it gets into everything because you can subpoena everything related to the case. Text messages, emails, private messages, all those things now come to light. So a lot of these people are so narcissistic to think that they would never, like, nothing they put out there will ever be seen. And that's not true, because once you open yourself through that door, your entire life gets made open.
That's
right. So like they're dumb enough to put it out online. What do you think they're saying in private?
Yeah, and you get a lot of them. You get a lot of these creators like that who don't think someone will do something because they think they're broke. They can't afford a lawyer. They're not going to do anything. So they continue to edge these people on because they really deep down think that these people don't have the resources to get law involved. Then when the law gets involved, they boast about it like it's a joke on TikTok or on other social media platforms. And you've seen it. Dinesh has done it. He just jokes about it like it's nothing, gaslighting his followers to make them think that this is nothing when something is actually happening.
Right.
You know, and
or the victim.
Yeah, or they're the victim, and then they play the victim card. Like I said, once something hits them, they go to playing the victim card. Oh, woe is me! I need your help. Send me money. And these smooth brain monkeys that follow them send these fools money. Then when they send them money, what happens to them? The people that send them money, Marlon?
Nothing.
Nothing. But what can happen? They can freaking audit who all funded these hate things and all this stuff. Oh, you send them money to dox somebody.
They're not going to do that.
Send them money. Yeah.
It never gets to that point because they always get saved.
Yeah, but it could get
settlements.
To that point. And this is why you don't get involved. You know, these people sit there and say, oh, why do you got to get the law involved? It's only the internet. It's only the internet to you. This is
only
my
the
life.
internet until you leave your life. Yeah.
Yeah.
I found one. Okay. Well, listen carefully. This is allowed on TikTok because he is who he is.
I'm boys. You prefer men, right? I white boys. You white or black? White boys. Oh, butt boys with big butts. Oh, of course. You know, you look like a queer. Well, okay, so now you're calling me a queer in the courtroom? I didn't call you one. I said.
I know what that audio is from.
And that is the kind of stuff that he puts up on his platform in between social justice and political stuff.
He hides it.
This is exactly how they do. You know how they entice children, and this is why I call them pedophiles. There is no reason to put that on your profile as an adult male. I'm sorry, none. Unless you are a direct pedophile, you don't do that. Yep. Unless you have interest in little boys, you don't do that. You have to be a pedophile to do it. I don't care. There's no joke. There's nothing hilarious about nothing. Nothing is hilarious about it. But you felt the need to do a video saying that, and you interject. This is exactly what they do. They know they have minors following them. They know this. They know it. They will put that in between George Floyd and Philando Castile.
Yep.
And they'll put a nice little 2 or 3 videos of sexual stuff right in between, and then go back to the social. Karen, same thing. She will do a bunch of videos exposed, and then she'll put in her sex toys and her OnlyFans page, knowing she doesn't restrict it. It's for everyone to see. And then she'll go back to, then she'll bring her boyfriend in, frisking her, and then talking about sex, and then go back to social, because they're aiming their content towards children.
Yeah,
the same way that Muscles were doing it to try, and I definitely believe this, to get young boys to be interested in him. When one of his allies decide they are against him, he wants to make sure they get eradicated, because it could bring down his whole grift.
That's right.
And TikTok supports this. The entirety, I don't care who is at the top or the middle or the bottom, they all support it, because every time someone does something about an actual political event with facts, it gets taken down.
Yeah, and
all
Mark,
the crap gets left up.
And on that, what do all the creators like to, all of them, just think of them all. What is one thing they all have in common? Substance abuse. And addiction. So if you look at all of them have some type of substance abuse problem or some type of addiction problem. And I'm not saying this to be a hypocrite, because I had an addiction problem. But I'm saying is if you look at the patterns of all these people, they all are addicted to something, and then they grift to support their addiction. They're not using that money for anything else but to support their addiction.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The thing that, okay, I'm trying to make sense of that audio, because like I know what that audio is from. It's a transcript reading, like a real court transcript that was voiced by Rick and Morty, right, through AI. Why that particular section of the video? That's the question to me. Because like I want to give the benefit of the doubt here, but then at the same time, it's like I know that's like a 9-minute video, and you particularly picked out that section of it to play. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, even if it's supposed to be like jumping on the algorithm to use that audio to generate views, why that section?
And I can explain that. So Rick and Morty, who watches that show mostly? Young boys, kids. So if he can get a young boy to react to that and say, "Oh, Rick and Morty, oh, hey, I love that show," that creates that interaction. Oh, you do? So do I. Hit me in my DMs. Let's talk about Rick and Morty. Then that's how he starts grooming these young boys. Oh, yeah. And it goes from there, wherever it goes. But that's how it starts.
Puppies in my van.
He does the Rick and Morty skit. Kids watch Rick and Morty. A kid interacts with the video. He interacts with the kids. And then it goes from there. That's what groomers do.
Yeah.
And if you think that it's because we're taking off, the topic was the face of evil.
Yeah.
Recent brought to attention because of that bald fool. And I seriously hope he gets his comeuppance to the point where he does do jail time, and his dog goes to a home of someone who does not have that kind of a spirit on him. I really do that. I'm not wishing death on the dog. Him, I want him to go to jail to experience exactly what jail life is like. And I mean in every facet. And some of them he may like, but I hope it's to the point where he doesn't like it. That's the only way he can learn. Really is the only way he can learn. It's the only way any of them will learn, is that they get some punishment so drastic that when they come back out, they're a whole different person. But that probably won't happen. It's wishful thinking. But this is
Rick and Morty's an adult show.
They do. They'll do disclaimers and they're good. When I tell you these people are good, they're good. Listen to what he says, okay? Watch.
Hey, everyone. We need to talk. Hello to all the new fans, and it's much appreciated. And I'm assuming you guys are here because of the beard video, which is great. It's at like 3.2 million views right now, which is crazy. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate everybody who's following because they want to see more things than I make. That being said, I understand there are a lot of younger people on the app, and obviously a lot of those follow me, and that's fine. But not everything I make is going to be for you. Since this is kind of blown up, I've had one video reported that was a duet where the audio was two characters in a shower. So the person who recorded the first half was in a shower and showed nothing. And then I was in a shower to record the second half and showed nothing. And then it was reported by children. Next, I made a video duet with a friend that featured, a spank where it looked like I spanked the other person. And I had multiple comments from children that said reporting. Guys, if you don't like it, that's fine. It's not all for you. Move along. All right. I'm a grown ass man. I'm
Yes,
gonna
you
do
are.
grown man things. So some shit will be funny and you'll like it. Other things won't, and you can either leave or block me. I don't care if I lose you as a follower as a result. That's okay. But don't report stuff.
No, yeah, report it. Now,
But you notice what he did there, right? I hope you notice how he did that.
yeah. So he's telling his followers not to report his videos, or people that follow him not to report his videos. But he's the same type of person that would tell his followers to go report people's videos of content he doesn't agree with. Make it make sense. You know what I mean?
It doesn't.
These people don't make sense. You know that.
It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that he could say that. And you notice he didn't say, my account is not for children. Please unfollow this account because it's not for children. He didn't say that. He said, you can stay if you want. What does that do? Okay, let's do some psychology here. You go to a child. You don't have to take this piece of candy, but if you want to take the candy,
I won't stop you.
I mean, you don't have to come into my van. It's an adult van, but if you want to come into my van, I'm not going to be responsible for you coming into my van because I offered you the chance not to come into my van. You don't have to take your clothes off if you don't want to, but if you want to take your clothes off, you don't have to send me nudes. But if you want to send me nudes, you can send me nudes. That's how they do it. Don't act like you don't know what you're doing, bro. You know exactly what you're, especially how he's talking. We need to talk. That's how you talk to kids.
Yeah.
Yep.
So here's another thing. You notice the complete increase in uptick of teachers having sex with their students in the last few years. Who's the majority of people that go into the liberal arts field to be teachers?
The
activists, right?
Yeah.
So the majority of the people that are getting arrested or found out that they've had sex with children have been activist teachers who use the system to get close to targets. Just want to point that out there, because like the majority of people that are on the right, like they're not teachers anymore. They got axed out a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But this is what's going to continue. And it's not just TikTok, mind you. There are more sites that do probably way worse. But TikTok is by far the most fast moving one. Is the most accessible because you can lie the most to get onto TikTok about your age. There's hardly any verification process. And with that being the case, kids are rampant, and you don't half the time you may not or may know if it's a child. But you can always know by asking the question. Or at the minimum, curbing your content to not target children.
Yeah.
How about that for a change? Or if you are targeting children, target them for positivity, not for perversion. But that's what they want because their entire life is perverse.
Yep.
Yeah. Pick an audience, man. If you're putting content out for children, then you probably shouldn't be posting adult content on the same channel.
Thank you.
Yeah. And the way I run my page is anybody who follows me, I literally go through every profile of a new follower. And if I see a kid's face on the profile picture,
Gone.
You're removing
blocked.
following.
Yeah.
Blocked. If I see a cartoon and there's no content,
Gone.
blocked. You know, I control my page very much. Even when I was up to 90K, I used to go through and look at my new followers, and anybody that didn't jive right with me, block. Now, did some slip through? Of course, they always slip through, but the majority of them, I would block. So that's something he's not doing. He's just willy-nilly taking anybody that follows. It could be a 13-year-old boy willy-nilly watching this stuff. And he doesn't, either he knows or he doesn't, but I'm pretty sure he's interactive with them.
Oh, well, remember that Tizzy was the same one that did the whole doxing of a 12-year-old girl.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
What about,
I remember that.
Didn't Tizzy take that picture? There was a thing with him on a subway.
Yes.
Yeah, that of a kid, and he had his phone up, and he was like taking a picture of a kid.
They do it, and they act like it's nothing. Like I said, this entire environment that's on there, if you are even remotely right-leaning, your content gets not only censored, hardly any traction, it'll get deleted.
Yeah.
If you're left-leaning and pushing the narrative of sexualization of kids, the propaganda machine, you not only get rose to the top, you get paid to do it.
Yeah.
Mass money.
These are the type of people that are trying to normalize public displays of fetishes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good way to
Like
put it.
it's the only way to. That's the only way to put it. It's like they're trying to normalize the behavior of publicly displaying your fetish type, and saying that's normal. Everybody should be exposed to that. No, children don't need to be exposed to that. That's why these books that they're complaining are getting banned, and schools are getting banned because it's normalizing fetish behavior in middle schools. People, middle schools. We're not talking about high schools. We're talking about middle schools. Why does a middle schooler need to understand or even know what a fetish is to begin with?
Yeah, and you know, and I guarantee guys like Muscles, and whatever you want to call them, if they was to get his computer or his phone, how much you want to bet they find something on there? He looks like that type of person.
Well, Vosh had some stuff on there that was very
yeah, he looks like that type of
very
person.
questionable.
and to prove that he knows, here, I'll have a few comment sections to put up for you.
Oh yeah.
I'm 11, but I've grown up with cursing and swearing, so I'm not bothered. I find you hilarious. Sweetheart, an older lady, your latest video is you flipping off the camera and doing sound with the F word. I have no reason to be rude. The app is open to everyone who wants to get on. He has an 11-year-old. 11, mind you, 11. Commenting on his video. 11.
That
isn't that against TOS?
Insane.
Not only that, they shouldn't be on the app. There's
right.
Yeah.
So the fact is that he wants, and this is proof that he knows, right? So you can't tell me that it's unknown, you don't know who. They are actually, they feel free enough to talk to you, which tell me they probably talk to you in your inbox too, that they're 11. But no one cares. We talk about the children all the time, protecting the children, and this crap is still going on. I want to eradicate TikTok for that reason. Or at least get all of the people that have accounts like Tizzy's off the app. You want to do political crap or sexual stuff, go to some other platform, go to Pornhub. That's more your speed. I wouldn't mind. Look, FBI, if you're listening, go check TD Ans's computer for child pornography, please. Because I bet you're going to find some.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
I bet you're going to find some.
I have Retro put a comment on there that kind of creeped me out. And I have a question to that. So she says, my granddaughter has a furry in her class and she's 12 in 6th grade.
Ain't that crazy?
Furry. You have a furry in a 12th grade class. My question is, do they have the full fursuit? Because if it is, that's an expensive thing for a parent to pay for just to normalize.
If the parents are into it, they'll pay that money.
Yeah, that leaves a lot of questions. A lot of questions. Those fursuits aren't cheap. They're like $5,000 a pop.
I wouldn't know.
It is crazy to me.
The internet's out there for knowledge, but yeah.
and danger.
Look up stuff like
this is why it's effective for us to always make sure you
Passive
monitor.
knowledge.
Guys. Make sure you monitor. But if you can't monitor, restrict. You have that right to restrict your kids. It's okay to say no.
Yeah.
Just tell them no, we're not doing that. But I don't care what Frankie's doing. I don't care what Angie's doing. You're not doing it. It's that simple. If I find out you're doing it,
Ooh.
you're staying home. You're never going to see your friends again.
That's
How
right.
about that? Pick one.
And for the
crazy.
parents out there, I'm sorry, Marlon, but for the parents out there that have kids that are on the app, you can't control everything, but you can. But there's something called family pairing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can pair your underage kids if they're old enough to be on the app. You can pair it to your account to where you can see who's interacting with them. And then if you get a freak like Tizzy, even just replying to a comment to your child, that's a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Again, if a child came onto my platform for some reason and responded, I wouldn't respond back. Delete.
Mhm.
Block. But people like him want that interaction because that's their target.
I'll answer your question, Joyce. So what you're watching is part of a furry convention. Okay. What it really is a sexual preference to have the person that you're with wearing the imagery of an animal in some way, shape, and form, whether it be realistic or fantastical, but a animal that's furry. And so you put on these costumes, but underneath the costumes, there is nothing else. And they usually gather for orgies, and that's it.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a sexual preference, just like any other deviant lifestyle. And for that to get even into the mind or the heart of a child via an adult is telling me that that child has been either touched already, is being groomed to be touched, or has been touched to the point where he is now touching others.
Yep.
Yeah,
and it's what they've been pushing for a while. So
it could probably be through a traumatic experience. So I would suggest looking.
Yeah,
into
which is
that
why I said he was touched by others, and now he's touching others.
Which
himself.
is probably the reason why they're in foster care. But I would still report that because it is ridiculous for a 12-year-old to be a furry. At that point.
And by the way, that's also allowed on TikTok. By the way, just so you
Oh
know.
yeah,
there are accounts that have not only accounts that have that, there are accounts that actually have child pornography on it and does not get taken down. Like literal child pornography. I don't mean like blurred out or actual child pornography on TikTok. You can find, and it's not centered and it is not taken down. So I just want people to be aware. The reason that we did that, first of all, of course, was when Muscles and Nursing did the whole crap with doxing somebody, but it opened up a cavalcade of things because now you see exactly what the underbelly of this machine is. And it's not just TikTok. I mean, social media.
Yeah.
It is a nasty beast, and it aims towards your children when you're not looking, which is why you see a lot more children are rebellious. They don't listen. They get pregnant at an early age. They get violent at an early age because they don't know exactly what to do with all this thing being bombarded upon them. A child does not know how to process this kind of stuff. They don't. I don't care what people, the same way they want to push for transsexual and change, it's because they know the child can't process it and they'll trust you.
Yeah.
Thinking you have their best interests at heart. And you destroy them. And that's what they do.
And the thing with creators, sorry, Jay. But the thing with creators, like all these big creators, all these predators, I'd like to call them, they need to be called out. And the reason people don't call them out because they're in fear, because they boast about what they do to people who try to come after them. This is what I can do. I have 1 million followers. I guarantee somebody lives in your city. So people were scared to actually voice their opinion. No matter, if you're sitting there watching and you get that little tingle down your spine, that's a red flag. That's that spirit talking to you saying, hey, this isn't right. I wouldn't be watching that, or you need to report it. So don't be afraid to report these people because they're not as powerful as you think. They may gang stalk, they may try, but there's ways to control that. Just continue to report their content because people like that need to be off the app. For one, they're toxic. For two, they target children. For three, they get people to, they cause people to harm themselves. They ruin people's lives by calling their jobs. This is people like, Muscles. Call your job, get you fired. I care about the kids. Get you fired from your job. Now your kids are losing money to help support, feed them, send them to school, and do other things. So they don't care. It's all virtue signaling. They just grift around to the next big thing. And then once they're done with that, they move on to the next thing.
Right.
Yeah. And that is what we wanted to make sure to say. If you guys are on TikTok, play it safe. But if you see content by these particular people, do what they do. It's about time we take off our kid gloves and start putting on some cement inside the fist, or just brass knuckles the mess out of them and mass report their account.
Mm-hmm.
And every time they pop up, mass report their account. If they want to play this game, we can play it too. Absolutely destroy anytime you see them. Spam. I don't want you to just block them anymore. Blocking them just takes care of you, but that's selfish. Mass report their accounts so they never get back on the app. Even if they do, and they say, well, I'll pay you TikTok to do it. No, it's too much of a liability because we're not making any money off of you. You keep getting reported.
Mm-hmm.
So then they have to start making a decision. When all of their accounts start going down like flies to Bagon, then they're done. We have to start doing that ourselves. We have to take off the gloves, stop playing soft, fire with fire, bulldozer to bulldoze, and bulldoze the building if it has to. We have to stop playing the games.
Say is malicious compliance. If they're changing the rules for whatever they want to do to play the game, then play the game with them.
Play the game with them.
Yep. If they want to play it changes the rules, okay, I'll comply with your rules and I'll do the exact same thing as you.
Yep.
Which is malicious.
And the thing is, just understand that we have podcasts. We have multiple podcasts. And we're not afraid to talk about this stuff on our platforms. We're not afraid of them, period. But if people don't want to expose them on TikTok, if you save the video, and we've said this before, save the video, email it to us, and then Marlon, myself, and the rest of us will look at it. And if it's something that's a red flag to us or worth talking about, we will obviously talk about it. Not everything's going to get talked about. Some little scuffle between you and this creator, we're not going to, that's not even worth it. It has to be mainly these big guys who are targeting children, who are targeting single moms, who are targeting anybody that doesn't need to be targeted, who can't defend themselves. Hey, save the video. Our email is the same as the name of the podcast. Email it to us, and we'll look at it. We will look at it. And if we don't do anything about it, it's probably not even something that's worth even bringing up. But these guys are Tizzies and the Aunt Karens and all of them. They're worth it.
Yeah, they're worthless too.
Worthless also.
Worth it and worthless.
I'll probably do this because I made a Reddit page for the Hooch podcast. Maybe I'll just make it the TSP and Hooch podcast page. So if you actually have people that want to go on Reddit and post those videos there instead of emailing us, you can.
Yep.
And that'd be another way for us to see.
Cool. You got the link? Put a link in the private chat, and I'll put it in the comment section.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's ways. If you
we got to start fighting back.
Yeah, if you're one of those people, I mean, Marlon and Jay are a little more outspoken on. We all have our own ways of presenting a message, and they're a little more outspoken than I am. But there's ways around it. We all have our own method of doing things. Some are a little more blunt, some are a little more passive. Pick your poison, and somebody will jump on it and voice their opinion about it.
You don't have to download it if you don't want to. It's just a way if you want to post videos that you want us to see is the best way to do it.
Yeah. And no, you actually don't even have to download the app. You can access Reddit from the web, and you don't need to download it. Just go to the web and you can upload it to the account. So no, you don't have to. You may have to sign up, but that's about it. But you don't have to download the app. I know it's easier from the phone, but at the same time, at the website's there if you don't want to have another app. So there are options. We have to discuss this new Letitia James denying bond. Did you hear that she doesn't want to take the $170 million?
Yes.
All right. So we'll talk about that Friday, I think. We'll see if she gives it. I think she'll fight. Here's the problem. Here's what I predict. This is just my prediction. They'll shoot themselves in the foot by doing that. You should just take it, because now you're giving the man precedence to show bias. You're stupid. I knew you were dumb, Letitia, but I didn't know you were that stupid. Like, just from your face, I could tell that you were inadequate in the mental senses. But this is just proving that you should have been in remedial classes, special bus. That's where you should have been. And you probably need to invest in Jenny Craig too, if I was you, because your shoes look like they're screaming for help, lady. Like, honestly. Like, those were heels before. They were heels before, but they're not heels anymore. I think they're more like crushed cans underneath you. Lose some weight, lady. Get in the gym. It might help your self-esteem, and it might even help stimulate some brain activity. I don't know, but you need to stop, because you're going to end up shooting yourself in the foot. You have to get the bullet around your belly first. But there's a movie that knows how to curve bullets. You might look at it and see if you can do that, and it might end up shooting yourself in your foot if you can reach it.
So we got Big Shirley.
Big Shirley.
We got Medea. Is that or is that Rasputa? Which one is she?
Is that Ass Willis? I mean, Fannie Willis? I mean, Fannie Willis?
No. Norbit.
Norbit. I forget her name.
Fannie Willis is Big Shirley.
Yes.
And then what is this one? Is she Medea or she from
No, she can't be Medea. Sometimes Medea makes sense.
Okay, so she's a Rasputa, right? Is that from Norbit?
Norbit.
Yeah.
But if she is Medea, it's more along the lines of she's a man playing the role of a woman. That's the kind of Medea she is.
At this point, they all are. We don't even know. We don't even know now.
We got Big Mike, we got Big Shirley, and we got
Big Mike.
Chuck Schumer's person.
Yeah.
So the hooch will be on tomorrow. I was down with my back last night, so I didn't do it yesterday, but tomorrow we will be. We'll be talking about the fact that they've got a patent for HDMI to insert ads into your television without your consent.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. So join us Friday. We'll talk about Letitia and this refusal to pay what was legally allowed to be paid. And if you think it's only going to happen to people like Trump, just to believe it's not going to just be there. It'll happen to anybody. They have to set a precedent so they can say we echo back to that because we don't like it. We can do it. Just understand that. It has nothing to do with left or right. As you can see with Muscles, he goes after his own kind too. Just so you know.
Yep.
Okay. Just so you know. So we'll see you guys Friday, hooch tomorrow, and I'll be on Straight Talk tomorrow to ask the sensitive question of, do we actually have free will? Okay. That is going to be the big question of, one, if we have it, and two, what it is. Okay, so we'll have a discussion about that.
And real fast,
I love that.
If you guys didn't see Marlon's Straight Talk episode with the atheists, you need to go and watch it. I watched the whole thing. It was great. It was really good. I give him kudos for that.
I didn't lose my cool. You see that?
No, you didn't.
Twice.
But we talked about it. Remember, we talked backstage and we said this is exactly how he's going to act, and he acted just like that.
Just like
it was crazy,
predictable. Yeah,
it was so predictable how he acted, and we called it.
Yeah, that's the way they move, man.
Yeah, they're
easy.
easy.
So we'll see you guys Friday and tomorrow on the hooch, Mr. Lee.
So like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see y'all on both platforms.
Peace.
Peace.